What a spot.
Nice and cozy.
Waylon Kane.
All right.
Holy crap.
How's it going?
Good. It's good to be here.
Yeah, same. Glad to have you, man. Welcome to the camper.
All of our stories start before we even exist.
Very true.
So, where does Waylon start?
That's a great question. Cool. So I guess even before my story began, my parents met actually in Iowa. My mom's from Iowa originally. My dad is actually from here, from Brighton, Colorado. They met, my mom was a bartender at my dad's uncle's bar, and he worked there as well. Kind of a weird story. Anyway, so they met there. Years later, lots of time later, they moved here. My dad finally won her over once she visited the Rocky Mountains and got out of Flatland, Iowa. And quite a long time later, actually 2 abortions later, here I am. So I guess third time was the charm for them, and they decided to keep me. My mom actually had her first kid when she was 19, didn't have me till she was 41. So a lot of time in between there, obviously. So definitely I was an accident child, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I'm glad to be here regardless. So.
Well, your mom definitely seems to enjoy you and love you very much.
She's a sweetheart. Mama's boy for life. I'm a mama's boy for life.
What was the first camera?
The first camera I ever got, I mean, I had a couple of like earlier things before this, but like the first camera I really like got into was the flip camera. I don't know if you remember those, but like they were like cheap little cameras you get at Best Buy. They're like these little, it looked like a little vertical, I don't know, like it was just this tall, you know what I mean? Like a stack of cards almost. But you flip it out and like the USB thing flips out all cheesy, you know what I mean? But they're super cheap. So I actually burned through like 4 of those, and you can like mix and match like the battery covers. So like we had all these different colors, and I would like mix them. I was all nerdy and shit. So that was like the first camera that I could like bring with me anywhere. It was easy enough to use, and we would just get all sorts of shots on it. And that was actually the first camera that I used snowboarding as well. I ended up snowboarding much more than skateboarding eventually. Just something I was a little bit better at, so it was like more fun, I guess. I don't know. So, and in fact, that was the first video that I actually made and edited, was a snowboard video. So at the time, I can't even remember what editing software we were using. It was like something ripped offline. I want to say it was like Sony Vegas, or what else would it have been? It wasn't Avid. I wasn't cool enough for Avid. That was like still being used a lot, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people still use Avid, I don't know. So yeah, that was kind of like the beginnings right there. First edit, snowboarding, Sony Vegas, mom's computer.
So up in Greeley, you worked at the skate shop. Did you find something similar down in Denver, or what did you do for work? Did you work?
Yeah, so when I transferred, I transferred right into like my program or whatever. And I had a couple of different kind of odds and ends jobs for a little while. But I ended up, my main longest job there was actually working for the school. I ended up becoming like a lab tech for our program. So I would run like the editing lab, and I would run like the rentals for the school out of their rental cage. And that was actually the best part of that job, because A, it didn't pay that great, but B, I could take any gear out of there at any time that I ever really wanted. I mean, of course, with teachers okaying it, of course, but I mean, if I wanted a camera over the weekend, I could take it anytime. You know, there really wasn't, I was the one checking it out. So, so that was a huge perk for me, and it allowed me to just experiment a lot. I think damn near every weekend I would have a camera out. And so that was really fun. Outside of that, fast forward all these years, I think it was my second semester of my first year in Denver. So I was a junior, second semester. I walk into this like gen ed class I needed. I think it was like communications or something like that, like some bullshit course. And I walk in, and lo and behold is Fredo Jones sitting there. The guy who taught me everything that I knew about a camera years before when we were doing snowboard stuff. And albeit that was little then, but it was just surprising to see this guy in this class. I was like, Fredo, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? And he said, oh, I've got a couple credits that didn't transfer from London. So I'm finishing my degree. I gotta pick up these couple of courses. And so it just turns out that I, you know, had a great friend in there that was in the industry that I wanted to be in. It was definitely kind of destiny in a way. So from there, he was already kind of much more well developed, and had started a small kind of company with friends called Blurred Pictures. And at the time, they didn't have much camera gear, so we became much more friends, and much more tight. And throughout those times, I would give him camera gear from cough cough from the rental cage from school, and it would be a school project, but really it would just be gigs for them, whether that's a commercial, whether that's you know, just small video edit promos in the clubs, or a music video for a friend, or you know what I mean, you know how it starts. So I would always float them camera gear as long as I could come with. So that was kind of the agreement. As long as I could come with them, I would give them a camera setup, and that was kind of how I started the second kind of venture in my career with these guys, and that's kind of actually where we are now.
Was there ever a time where you were a little nervous about what was going on with the camera, or like when it was out of your control or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was this one time I rented out a camera to Fredo for 2 weeks, which was kind of a long time. So, and I had built good enough rapport with the teachers, it was fine. So I was just stressed about it. But it was actually for a job called the Groove Cruise. So it's this like crazy ship that all these DJs go on, and it's a trip. And Fredo was responsible for doing a recap video for it. He was one of the filmers for the recap video. So I apprehensively gave him this camera setup, and I was like, Fredo, like, I hope this comes back in one piece. You know what I mean? 2 weeks is a long time. And so he freaking takes it and ends up using it to hide his drugs to get onto the ship, but that's a whole different story. Needless to say, I was definitely stressed that entire 2 weeks for him to come back to bring me the camera, but he brought it all back, and I think he was only missing like one battery or something like that.
Making this piece that we're filming right now.
Cool.
Has it caused you to reflect on things that you hadn't really thought deeply about? You know, did it cause you to go look at some of your old work? Has it conjured up some stuff that was buried deep down in Waylon? Totally,
yeah.
Talk about that process, if you would.
Thank you, and no thanks from you. No, it definitely has drummed up. It's been a good refresher. It's kept me grounded in a lot of ways. Just talking about this, I thank you for that. It's also shown me that I guess I have done a couple of things, and I've started this journey quite a bit now. I've got a bit of a footprint now. I'm finally to the point where I guess I know I'm talking about a little bit. We can sit here and have a conversation about it. So, yeah, it's made me reflect a lot, and I think it's going to help me tenfold with the future right now. It's going to help me really hone in on the things that I need to be focused on right now that I knew already, but yeah, now I definitely know this is where I need to be. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that you feel like you haven't had a chance to say?
Have fun. Have fun. You always got to have fun. If you're not having fun, I don't know what you're doing. That's about it.
True.
So, right on.
Well, thank you, sir.
Of course.
I
Cheers.
appreciate it. That's coffee.
Right on.
That's hot coffee.
It's pretty potent coffee.